Hey all, Hipper here. So today we're looking at Kiev, and I'm using the same build I'm using on Tashkent for this video here, which is Makarov with a Rumble and a Sure Lane Baltimore. So with this build you get Ingenious, and you get Velocious, and you get all the usual stuff, and you get fully packed. So it means you get 3 of everything. And that's really useful on this destroyer here because it comes fully packed. And it has heal, speed boost, and it also has smoke. So you don't have to make a choice between smoke or heal, you have both. So remember to put an epic booster on this ship. If you go with this build here, you get the extra range. So if we get 11.7, that's okay. Like Tashkent gets 13.1 with this build. So yeah, still not. But of course it's tier 6. 1.2 rudder and 41 knots. So this is an agile build. So I don't care about radar cruisers in this destroyer here because it doesn't matter at all. And I like that. That's why I think I really like the Russian destroyers. And an alternative build, if you're more traditional, go with Rumble here and then put like double concealment inspirations on. And of course the concealment perk as well. And other than that, it's pretty much up to you. I like the rather be torching down here because I use this as a gunboat, and when I can torp, I torp, and that seems to work really well. And of course change the rudder in the 3rd slot to concealment if you go with a concealment build, naturally. That should make sense. So 12.6, that's good, and 4.3 rudder, that's pretty bad, and 5.6 concealment is also yeah, but it's sure better than 7.3, which I had before. So these are the 2 builds that I've been playing around with, and I prefer Makarov, but that's just a personal preference. So I have a 1.2 second rudder on this DD here, and the turning circle is much smaller than a Tashkent, so it feels so much more agile. It's really fun, and as you can see later, it's really easy to dodge shots in this thing here. So that's why I go with the Makarov build. I enjoy that, it's good fun. And I like this line here of DDs because you don't have to choose between health or smoke. You get both, along with a speed boost, which is like, well, luxury, I think. So like these destroyers here, they come fully equipped. And I've had like some hungry looks at the Udoloi, the tier 7 Russian destroyer in the new line. And I think it looks very tasty. The stats look pretty close to Tashkent. Of course, the reload is a lot longer. So that's going to be a problem. You can't really just sit and smoke and set battleships on fire with that 4-second reload. Udoloi has 7.5 seconds. I think it can be improved with the upgrades and stuff, but it's still going to be not as great as Tashkent. But the turning radius of Udoloi is 120 meters less than Tashkent. And other than that, the agility looks about the same. Except for, of course, Udoloi is not as fast as Tashkent. I think it goes probably around 43 knots or something, while Tashkent goes 46 or whatever it is. But the rudder is about the same. Like with Tashkent, you can hit 1 second rudder if you really want to. With this build here, I think I have the same as Kiev, which is 1.2, and like you won't notice the difference. Now there aren't many destroyers that I enjoy to play. Tashkent is my absolute favorite, and then it used to be Le Fantasque, but now it's probably Kiev number 2, and I'm pretty sure when Udoloi comes out next month, it's going to be my number 2. Perhaps it'll beat Tashkent, I don't know yet. I doubt it though. But if Udoloi gets a heal and a smoke, just like Kiev, which I'm kind of assuming it does, that would be quite an enticing duo there. Especially with Makarov, where you get 3 of each. Do not underestimate that. Like the only thing that this destroyer pretty much needs is a sonar, but obviously that would make it totally overpowered. But it would be pretty cool, I think. So there's someone else in my cap here, and I'm not going to give it up. So I'm going to sit in here. So all these radar cruisers that are gathered around here, like should they pop their radar, then it doesn't matter because they can't hit me anyway. And then when the opportunity presents itself, I'll jump out of here and like create some havoc. So Kiev here has a much faster turret rotation than Tashkent, but like I said before, the reload is also about double. So this ship here is more viable up close, I think, if you're in a dogfight with another destroyer, because it's just much more maneuverable than Tashkent, and in a close fight, Tashkent is pretty vulnerable to being torpedoed, because it is pretty long, and although I run an agile build on it, up close it takes a long time to turn because it has that like pretty huge turning radius for a destroyer. So I have been playing around with Tashkent, also putting a heal on that, but I think that ship is more suitable to using a smoke in general, so I'm not going to stick with the heal on Tashkent. And of course I don't have to make the choice here because I have both on Kiev, and I'm assuming the same on Udoloi. So I'm very excited for the tier 7, I really am. It looks like it's a very fun, up close, dogfighting destroyer, and so importantly it has a heal. I love ships that has heals, except for battleships. But a cruiser with a heal, I love it, and a destroyer with a heal, I really love it. But again, I'm not putting it on Tashkent because I think it compromises the ship too much. But here I get it for free, so obviously, why not? So like I said, Tashkent is fast and it's also agile, but this thing here, it's also fast. With speed boost it goes about 43 knots with this build here, and you can see how good it is at avoiding shots. It's just amazing. And with the heal, you have that backup in case you mess up, which happens in a DD, because you just have to mess up by 1 millimeter and you'll take a battleship shell or something, and that hurts a lot. But with 3 heals, you can be very aggressive in this ship here, and I'm sure you all know I love being aggressive in this game here. If I can't be aggressive, I don't like the ship. It's fairly simple. So against other DDs, these guns are more than adequate. I have had some trouble with lightnings though, but mostly because the HE seems to take out my engine a lot because I don't have that skill on Makarov here, and of course that's a downside with this build here. It's not really a problem on Tashkent because for some reason the engine never gets shot out. It has happened once or twice on Kiev, I think. So that's something I'll just have to look a little bit closer at as I play this game a lot, or this ship a lot more. But I really love how I can just thrash this ship around here. It's great fun, trust me. Like these carrier attacks here, you can just troll the carrier basically. It's already hard to hit a destroyer, but a destroyer with a 1 second rudder and a turning radius like this thing here, and the ability to go 43 knots. Yeah, it's a pretty daunting task. I tend to spend a lot of time trolling carriers in this ship here because as you can see, it's nearly impossible to hit. And because I have terrible concealment on this destroyer here, I don't really care if I'm spotted. So I shoot my guns all the time and I head into the cap and I get spotted by the carrier. And the carrier spends the whole battle trying to sink me with torpedoes. And obviously that's a waste of resources because okay, if you try once or twice and obviously the destroyer is just too quick, then give up at least for a while and see if you can catch him off guard or something. Go help your team out somewhere else, because it's happened a lot where the carrier totally focuses me, and I get focused a lot by carriers, by the way. But in this ship here, it's pretty bad. Well, not bad, but it's pretty constant. And of course, that's perfect. That's what this build is for. it's a trolling build, and it doesn't matter if it's a carrier shooting at me, a battleship, or another destroyer, or whatever, because chances are they're not going to hit me. And should they hit, I have heals. And should things go really, really terrible, I have a smoke to escape. And like I said, with this build here, I have 3 smokes. I have 3 of everything. So usually I have 2 smokes for myself to get out of like those pretty nasty situations I keep putting myself in when I play so aggressively as I do. And then I usually have a smoke left over for, like, I don't know, smoking up a cruiser or something like that. So basically, Kiev is like a slightly different Tashkent, I think. I don't know if it's different, better or worse, but it's different. And I mean, it gives more flavor to the game, and I like that. Because Tashkent is probably my favorite ship in the game, and this ship here is so close to Tashkent that like, I'm very excited for Udoloi. I really hope it's going to be a crazy ship, because this is a tier 6, and it's almost on par with Tashkent. I know the range is not as good as Tashkent, but other than that, I really like this ship. I think it's a great destroyer. And like I said in the beginning, if you have like the will to play a concealment build, of course you can do that. There's nothing stopping you. I don't, but that's just me. Now you saw I shot a wide spread here, and I was pretty surprised how wide it actually was. I think it's the first one I've shot, and it was kind of to test it out, and that was very, very wide. I don't know if it really needs to be that wide, because you could pretty much fit a whole battleship broadside in between the torpedoes. So yeah, sometimes I use wide torpedo like salvos, but that one is probably a little bit too wide in my opinion. So note to self, just stick with the narrow spread from now on in Kiev. So we're going to take this battleship out here now, and the carrier is still haunting me because I mean, I'm spotted and I'm the one that's just easy to shoot at, I guess. So I'm gonna spare you the rest of this battle here, because nothing really happens. I just like sail around and try not to get torped, and yeah, that's about it. So I'm just gonna skip the next few minutes here. Okay, so we made it to the end of the battle here, and in a minute, there we go, the Lexington dies, and we've won. So this was a Kiev battle, and like I said, I am quite a big fan of this ship here. I'm not a big destroyer player, but like I do well in this ship, and it rewards aggressive play, so I like that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you out there.